Space Cafe. News, music, and comedy.
Don't want to see get put NDP and the Bloc clearly are demonstrating that they want to be part of.
Everything that the member has said could have easily been said as the former speaker during what was supposed to be debated today, and that is the budget bill. The Conservative Party of Canada is playing a destructive force on the floor of the House of Commons. Their intention is not to have a genuine debate on the issue. That's the reason why they moved adjournment. Their irresponsible behavior is at a great cost to Canadians from coast to coast to coast. My question to the member opposite is, when is the Conservative Party of Canada going to stop playing the political partisan games that they have been playing for the last little while, so that the government can continue to work with willing opposition parties in order to get Canadians served well through the House of Commons, as opposed to the games being played by the Conservatives? We want to work. Why does the Conservative Party not want to work and play a destructive force?
The honourable member for Caribou Prince George.
Well, Madam Chair, that's simply not true. This coming from a government that prorogued last summer, right when desperate Canadians were desperate for their relief programs, and they were just about to end. And why did they prorogue, Madam Chair? They prorogued to cover up a scandal, another scandal by this government, by this Prime Minister. Absolutely false, and again, more falsehoods coming from the other side, Madam Chair. And it's really disappointing when we have tried so hard to work in concert with this government, and at every step of the way, they've either prorogued Parliament, they have actually filibustered committees. Madam Chair, this is the most corrupt government that we've ever seen, and I'm appalled by that question.
Their intention is not to have a genuine debate.
They would believe how this could work with the CRTC, as the CRTC they're familiar with, and the regulations they develop, and their undertakings to do with things they do now. Could they explain to me how they believe this is something we could do in the future, as the CRTC would look at this piece to do with the work they do looking at this legislation?
Their irresponsible behavior is at a great cost to Canadians.
Prepared to rocket fire, go.
So there would be a few things I would underline with respect to the amendment that has been tabled. The first thing is to highlight, and this was a point that came out in the committee's discussion with respect to the charter and freedom of expression, but to remind the committee that, of course, the CRTC is bound by the charter. And its decisions are already subject and will be subject in the future to review for charter consistency through things like judicial review of its decisions, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Could I follow up?
Absolutely.
So in looking at this, when you first mentioned this, that would lead then to somebody on the outside, then if this wasn't in place to do that, take it to court and challenge what they haven't seen as a ruling. They would have to challenge it in the legal sense. So as this is new legislation, new grounds in the sense of what we're dealing with, would not they want to make sure that they're establishing groundwork? This amendment should cover them in a sense, if they were to do this, as we're moving into new territory, and provide cover for what we think is going to be challenged by the outside anyways. Wouldn't this be a safeguard step as they're moving into it?
Mr. Ripley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the question. The expectation is certainly that the CRTC consider, the charter in making its decisions.
Don't forget to like, dislike, subscribe, and comment. Safe Space Cafe. And always, have a good day.